Hi there. My name is Bob Wisher. I am with Alive 365 Wellness, and this is my presentation on how to kick the sugar habit. So, first question is, what's your favorite sweet, and how does it make you feel? So, take a moment and reflect on that, if you would, and kind of think, kind of tell yourself what is that favorite sweet of yours? Is it chocolate? Is it you know some kind of candy, some kind of cakes, cookies? What is it, and how does it make you feel when you eat it? Take a moment, think about that, reflect on it. All right. Next, I want to tell you about how I ended up here talking about sugar. Now, it started back when I was a kid. Somewhere in my early teens, I started gaining weight. I'd come home after a difficult day at school and eat my emotions. I wasn't in the popular crowd, and I was often teased by other kids. I had both parents working outside the house, so it was easy to self-soothe with whatever food was in the house. It was usually sweets or highly processed foods like Hostess cakes or grilled cheese sandwiches, which were one of my favorites. High school wasn't any easier. I played only one sport, and it wasn't specialized like the kids experience today. And I spent 9 months or so of the off season doing very little exercise. Then I went off to college, and the added weight came on more with dorm food and beer, etc. And my habits became cemented in my routine. Shortly after college came marriage and kids, more stress from work, lack of priorities to get in any kind of shape. And 20 years later, after having been on high blood pressure medication for years, going through a divorce, battling depression from all of the above, I was on a bad path. My vices were Hershey's miniatures, peanut M&Ms, chocolate chip cookies, and pasta. So going back to that question I asked you, those were mine, and they did. They made me feel better just because I was soothing, the pain that I was feeling. Even at a short period of time, it was very soothing for me to eat those things and that little rush that I get from it. During an appointment with my doctor in early 2016, I was told I was developing fatty liver disease. And I tipped the scale at 240 pounds and had a medicated blood pressure of 140/95. My doctor started into his speech once again about how you have to lose some more weight. I bet you a lot of you have heard that one. So something had to change. I flipped a switch and dedicated myself to getting on a healthy path. I found a way to follow through and anchor myself to my goals in a way that I hadn't been able to before. It was hard to kick those deep-rooted habits, but in a few months, I had lost 20 pounds, dropped 4 inches off my pant size, and had energy, found clarity, and was able to get myself moving again. I started slowly with walking, worked my way up to 10,000 steps a day. Then I began began a 5K training program and running, which I hadn't to that point ever been able to do since I was in high school, actually. Then I had stretched myself further than I'd ever thought and started doing CrossFit. So as you can see here, on the screen, I've got a couple pictures of me doing the grit and grind picture was actually a competition that I did for CrossFit. The one in the middle, the Murph with the Murph shirt, is actually a Memorial Day Murph special workout that all CrossFitters do. And our picture on the far right is probably me from a few months or so ago, just when I got to goal and was feeling great. So again, I started getting compliments and it felt great. But with all those things that changed, I realized I need more. My energy and motivation were renewed, and it helped me to see that I had been stagnant in my life for far too many years. And on April 29th of 2017, just over 1 year after that doctor's appointment, I reached my goal weight of 180 pounds, which was 60 pounds lighter than I started. That accomplishment helped me to see that I had the ability to change my habits and do more with my life. I started really evaluating what I wanted in life and setting goals to do what my heart had always wanted to do. I always wanted to help people, and I have an entrepreneurial mindset, but I could never really figure out how to put those two things together. That's when I found coaching and made an investment in myself and hired a coach. During my first session with the coach, he asked me what I wanted in life, and within a few more sessions, we had found the key to unlock what I had been hiding from myself for many, many years. I worked on many things as well, from goal setting to overcoming self-doubt and learning to act to not act as a victim. I then made another investment in myself and enrolled in a program to learn how to become a health and life coach. And within that program, I learned about total transformation. It's a system with support and accountability that teaches people how to exponentially improve their lives by changing their habits. And I'm here today to give you a flavor of that and help you determine if you're ready to make meaningful habit changes for yourself. I hope that you find the information I will share here today valuable, and I thank you for coming to watch this video and letting me share this with you today. So why watch this presentation? If you're wondering why you crave sugar at certain times, if you're done reinventing the wheel and want someone to tell you what works and what doesn't for real, you want to discover what's keeping you stuck so you can get unstuck, and you're ready to get this sugar and food thing handled so you can allow your best self to shine. If these bullet points describe you, then you're in exactly the right place. In fact, if this is you, there's no accident that you found this video, because I'm going to show you how to kick the sugar habit without giving up sweetness so you can experience a total transformation, gives you your best body, your best moods, and your best life ever. And because we have a limited amount of time in this video, I'm going to teach you as much as I can, but then before we finish, I'll show you how to take it further if you want to. So there are three main challenges to kicking sugar. The first is wondering why you have those cravings, why they feel out of control, and what to do about it. So why does sugar become a craving for us in the first place? Traditional nutritionists think of food in terms of calories and grams of fat. As a health coach, I feel that's only one way to look at food. The other way is something really cool, and the concept is called the polarity of food. Well, what does the polarity of food mean? Polarity of food is a principle that everything has two polarities or extremes. Hot or cold, hard or soft, noisy or quiet, light or dark. But how does this concept apply to food? Well, food is more than simply fuel. It has energetic qualities that are beyond the science of calories, fat grams, and nutrient values. For example, leafy greens give you upward and lifting energy, and root veggies give you grounding energy. So what does the polarity of food look like? Where does the inherent energetic quality of different foods fall on the spectrum? And how might this polarity in your food be actually creating your cravings? So on the next page, let's look at the polarity of food diagram here. So on the right, you see one extreme of expansive bliss. Foods that represent this energy are alcohol, caffeine, sugar, dairy, and to some extent fruit. The energy of these foods make you feel light, relaxed, and happy, or blissful. But when you eat too many bliss foods, you start to feel spacey and even a little forgetful. On the other extreme are contracted tension foods. These foods are contracting versus expansive. An example of these foods are salt, eggs, and red meat. These are the kind of foods that put meat on your bones. They make you feel grounded, focused, aggressive. But when you eat too many, you start to feel tight, agitated, and perhaps angry. So how do the two extremes of the polarity of food relate to sugar cravings? Well, if life is a system of opposites, and your body is always trying to balance itself out, what do you think happens if you're eating too many contracted foods like salt, meat, and eggs? What do you think your body will start craving to balance itself out? If you said sugar, you're exactly right. It'll crave sweet, expansive bliss foods. Do you find that if you have something salty like potato chips, you crave something sweet afterwards? That's the challenge. If we have too many contracted foods, we'll crave the expansive. And the opposite is also true. If we have too many expansive foods, we'll create the contractive. So what many people don't realize, and I didn't realize it myself either, is that we're often creating our own cravings unknowingly. You can even look at activities in your life through the lens of polarity. There are things that happen in life that are a little more contractive. They create more tension. Then there are things that are more expansive that create more relaxation. Contractive activities are multitasking, working too much, partying, staying up late, stress. And if you don't allow yourself to relax, then you're going to end up find yourself binging on chocolate, wine, bread, and desserts. Your body is begging for a break, like sleeping, reading, meditation, walking, taking a bath. So if you've been driving in awful traffic or your toddler has a nightmare, or you had a really stressful day at work, what are you going to crave? Yep, sweets or a bottle of wine. And that craving is just your body trying to rebalance itself out again. So when I'm working with clients to deconstruct their cravings, we look at both the foods they're eating and their lifestyle. Challenge number 2, kicking sugar, is no one really wants to kick it because it feels so good, right? And why does it feel so damn good? So let's take a quick look at what's happening in the body when you eat sugar and why we experience that awesome sugar high. Products containing a lot of sugar usually don't contain a lot of fiber, fat, or protein. Fiber, fat, and protein slow down sugar absorption, so when those nutrients aren't present, your blood sugar shoots up really fast like to the top of a roller coaster. At the top of the roller coaster, your brain is alerted and thinks you're in distress. So what does it do? Your pancreas secretes the hormone insulin to bring your blood sugar back down. But when we spend a lifetime of eating a lot of high sugar processed foods, our body has gotten really good to doing its job and produces more insulin. But when that insulin is produced and sent out, it doesn't bring your blood sugar back into balance. There's often too much insulin secreted, and our blood sugar dips way down. That's the blood sugar crash you feel after the sugar high, that shaky, spaced out, uncomfortable feeling. So now you've had a blood sugar crash, and now, what does your body do when you're down there in the middle of that nasty crash? It craves more sugar. And what happens to our blood sugar when we eat it again? It goes right back up to the top of the roller coaster, and the cycle continues. Have you ever experienced that before? I'm betting you have. And how does it feel? Yeah, not so good. You get that spaced out feeling, or you get the craving back and you just can't satisfy it. That's one of the reasons we start eating sugar, and we quite literally can't stop and crave it constantly, because your body is always trying to find that blood sugar balance. That sugar craving is your body's way of saying it needs something specific to restore the balance. And the easiest and most convenient way to restore blood sugar balance when your blood sugar is out of whack is eating more sugar. But when we keep eating it, we stay on that crazy craving roller coaster. And that roller coaster affects your mood, causes weight gain, and can lead to serious diseases like diabetes. And there's a little more to the story. After the insulin is sent out to take the excess sugar out of the bloodstream, it has 3 places it can take it: to your brain, your blood cells, your muscles. Or if all those receptors are full because you've been eating a lot of sugar already, where does that excess sugar go? Yes, it's stored as fat, right on your hips, right in your belly, and everywhere else you don't want it. And when your body is producing insulin to bring you back down from that sugar high, it can't produce what's called glucagon. Glucagon is very important, especially if you're trying to shed excess weight, because it's the hormone that takes the storage out of fat to be burned. So if you're eating sugar, not only are you probably storing most of it as fat, you also can't release the fat you already have in your body to be burned, because the sugar blocks the glucagon production and fat burning. The third challenge to kicking sugar is sometimes it's just easier to reach for sugar than deal with a problem or a challenge in your life, like your career, your relationships, your finances, your workouts, your sex life, your family, where you live, the weather. Sometimes it's just so much easier to reach for sugar than to deal with what's really going on. So what if cravings are a messenger to help you step into the best version of who you are? Wouldn't that be amazing? That's actually what happened to me. My cravings led me to wanting to lose weight, to walking, then to running, then to weightlifting, and now to coaching others improve their lives while incrementally improving my life at each stage. As of today, I've lost 60 pounds and I feel great. A few of the other impacts of sugar are that the brain's reward center absorbs those great feelings we get from sugar in the form of dopamine. And as we overconsume, the brain adapts and creates more receptors for dopamine. So we need more sugar to satisfy those newly created receptors and become a sugar junkie. Another fact is constantly feeding your sugar habit causes neuroinflammation in the memory center of the brain, which inhibits your ability to learn or remember facts. Have you ever felt like as you age, you're having more and more trouble remembering things? I know I was. So, you didn't just come here for problems, right? You watched this video for solutions. And what I'm not telling you is never to eat any sugar, but what I am saying is to treat sugar as our brain does, as a reward instead of a major part of our diet. So let's look at how to get started on kicking sugar without starving or giving up on sweetness, even if you've never done it before. You're going to want to have a pen and paper ready to write these down, or you can email me and I'll send the notes to you, or I'll send them to you, including all the notes. My email address is coach@alive365wellness.com. So the 7 solutions to kicking sugar are: number 1, check your beverages. It sounds crazy, but sometimes sweet cravings are a sign of dehydration. So pound a glass of water, wait 5 minutes, and then see if you still have the craving. Also, drinking too much caffeine mimics a blood sugar crash. You're high for a bit, and then you come crashing down afterwards, and of course, crave more sugar. Number 2 is satisfy your sweet tooth with sweet veggies, fruit, and spices. Your tongue has sweet taste buds that demand to be satisfied, so don't hold out on them. Add naturally sweet foods and spices to your diet, like squash, yams, carrots, beets, figs, berries, apples, cinnamon, coriander, nutmeg, and cloves. Actually, one of my personal daily tricks is I put nutmeg in my egg omelet every morning. And believe it or not, I've actually experimented with it, and it keeps me from having sugar cravings the majority of the day. So I definitely will give that a try. If you have eggs, you barely taste the nutmeg in there, but it's just enough to where it mitigates the cravings that you have for the rest of the day. Number 3 is sleep. And for many of us, that's easier said than done. But if you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, usually in the form of sugar or caffeine, right? So power down an hour earlier than usual and notice how your cravings disappear. Personally, I have a power down hour before I go to bed. Basically what that means is no electronics, no TV, no cell phones, especially no cell phone. Instead of all of that, add in reading or meditation to get in a more relaxed mindset to optimize your sleep. Solution number 4 is check your protein. This is kind of a fun, cool fact, but watch how much protein you eat and what kind you're eating. Excuse me, especially animal protein. Eating too little animal protein can lead to massive sweet cravings. But on the flip side, eating too much animal protein can also lead to sweet cravings. So when I work with clients, we find just the right sweet spot for protein intake so they feel satisfied. There are actually 3 ways we determine the best protein for your body type. There's metabolic theory, a blood type theory, and then we also do what we call a 4-day energy experiment, where we use different proteins on different days, different meals, to determine which ones work best for you. Number 5 solution to kicking sugar cravings is to snuff out low-fat and fat-free foods. When food manufacturers take the fat out of foods, what do you think they put in? Yeah, sugar. Foods like breakfast cereals, flavored coffee drinks, flavored yogurt, salad dressings, frozen yogurt, cookies, and cereal bars are some of the biggest vendors of that fat-free misnomer. Number 6 is move yourself. Movement is another kind of food for your body. It releases stress, makes you feel great and look great. And when you don't get enough, the body starts to look for other ways to blow off steam, like binging on Snickers bars. Really, movement in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, I went from walking to 5K runs to running and CrossFit. So you can do it too. Just focus on whatever movement feels good for you. And as you grow into that, get better at it, you can branch out and look for other opportunities and other avenues to move. And then number 7 is creating new post-meal rituals. So a lot of people are at dessert after their meal. I mean, it's kind of the way we grew up. It's one of the things you might love about it is the ritual of it. So I ask, what are the other possibilities from post-meal rituals? Go for a walk, play with a dog, play with a cat, journaling, meditation, having a conversation with a loved one, calling a friend, All of these things are things that you could make new rituals out of after your meal to kind of let that passing need for some type of sugar to go by. So what now? That was a lot of useful information. But what we're looking for is lasting transformation. How many people know what to do, but don't always do it? Because knowing isn't enough. It's not really what motivates us to action. Some of us do really well for a little while, and we get some new information, we renew our commitment and follow through. Take consistent action for a week or two, but then we convince ourselves that this time it's going to be different. And then what happens? Our motivation fizzles out, and we fall off track. We're suffering from a high-fact diet. We get a lot of theory, but we're not putting it into practice. We're missing the three key ingredients. Those three key ingredients are the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. We've got a lot of information, but we don't need more information. To make this time different, we need someone to encourage our progress. We need someone to kick us in the ass when we make poor choices. And we don't want to have to follow restrictive diets, count every calorie, and we don't want to have to spend 3 hours a day on a treadmill. And since no one is enthusiastically ready to get off that blood sugar roller coaster on their own, I'd like to invite you for a free total transformation discovery session. Invest at least 30 minutes of your time, and I guarantee you will walk away with one major aha about how to break out of the rut and get into action. In this 30-minute session, you'll discover what your cravings mean, discover why you're stuck and how to get unstuck, and discover a plan of action to experience a total transformation. This time can be different. Uncover what's been stopping you, slowing you down, keeping you from having the body or health you want. Develop a powerful vision for your total transformation and what it will mean for your health and for your life. Discover which foods and lifestyle habits are bringing your body down and what to do about it. And get a crystal clear on a step-by-step plan to create a total transformation in 90 days or less. I've had several client successes. Deanna lacked energy and was tired of being tired. She realized she wasn't putting herself first. Once she gained awareness of this, we created strategies for her to reach her goals. Another client, Sherry's goal was to get consistent with exercising. So we cleared the clutter that was getting in her way of making that a priority in her life. Kelly's goal was to lose 10 pounds and get to the gym 5 times a week. We focused on her eating for energy and her mindset around food, and she met both of her goals. Another client, Virginia, her goal as a type 2 diabetic was to check her blood sugar more consistently and cut back on sugar. And after 6 weeks, she had already seen a reduction in her A1C and was checking her sugar 3 to 4 times a day. And last client, Tammy, her goal was to lose 20 pounds. And through 8 weeks of the program, she's already lost 11 pounds and has gained energy through knowing which foods fuel her body the best. What makes this program unique is that we focus on what you get to have rather than what you don't. Suffering to heal just doesn't make sense. And when I work with a client, I want to inspire you to reclaim your health in a way that is sustainable, natural, and fun. Are you ready to make a lasting change? Email me at coach@alive365wellness.com to schedule your no-obligation discovery session today. Or for more information, you can visit my website at www.alive365wellness.com. At my website, you can also register to receive a free ebook on how to lose weight when nothing else is working. And with that, I thank you for showing up for yourself, watching this presentation, and I hope you gain some valuable information out of it, and you can implement some of these tricks and tips to help eliminate and kick the sugar habit out of your life and live a healthier, longer, and happier life. Again, if there's anything I can do for you, reach out to me, the website, or shoot me an email, and I look forward to hearing from you. Get healthy, people.